where all of this came from, and I don't know why. Neither does anyone else. Do you understand? It's like saying, where did space come from? Where did that come from? If it was a God, where did he come from? And you end up cracking up. It's as simple as that. So we've got to try and understand what this is all about, who we are, and why we are what we are, in the way that we are. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So this up here is limited.
Okay, this is day 2, tape 3, take 2. Or take 3, I think it is.
But what you're saying is that we're here for a certain experience, a conscious experience, right?
That's right.
Is that what? But that's what the gods created us for.
Yeah.
It's for consciousness.
Yeah. And apparently what the planets they were on were dying, and they had to move on elsewhere. But the way they were built, they couldn't survive here. Their planet was like ours. It gradually changed. Their body changed with it, to the point where they knew they were going to lose that experience, so they had to take that experience. They wanted to keep that experience, them feelings, because they were starting to lose them, and they wanted to take it somewhere else where they could create exactly the same system.
Right.
That's what I understand.
So then are they still here? They're still.
As far as I understand, yes. The reason why I don't like to approach that, because I can't prove it.
Yeah.
So, at a guess, I believe they are still here. In what form, I do not know. But I was given hints that they were here, but nothing definite. Do you understand? They used to joke with us and say, don't forget, mind. And they used to say it in a sort of way, Jody, don't forget, they're watching you. And they turn it into like a joke, do you understand?
Yeah.
It was the same when I went to Egypt. They knew I knew nothing about Egypt. When I was on the Nile, they would keep on saying, watch out for the crocodiles, Jody, and the snakes, you see. And I used to look around and I said, oh, they're kidding, there's crocodiles here. You see, and they were always joking with us. It was all good fun.
Yeah.
You understand? I had to turn that serious scenario into something casual, you see.
Sure.
It was all clever. But they used to say they could be watching you, so be careful. I'm saying, who? Oh, never mind. They could be standing right next to you and you wouldn't know it. That's the sort of patter, the talk.
Yeah, I understand. But in terms of what you were saying earlier about the programming that goes on.
Yeah.
You see, it's almost like obviously it's like a matrix that's being created for our existence, as far as our mind, right? They program us through television. They program us through mainly through television, but socialization, how we are educated in schools and perceive things. Exactly, our history books, our education system, right?
That's right.
The worldview. Talk a little bit about that. I mean, is this part of the experiment on humans, or is this a different faction that hates humans? I mean, I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, you hit the nail right on the head. There's a group of people, if you like, or entities that are trying to take over what we've got. That's what I understand. So they have to find a way how to do that. There's so many of us, and because we have got a mind, we can't think, they're going to try and change that way of thinking somehow. The only way they could do that, they had to get into some kind of position where they could do that. So they've spent a long time of getting the money to get into positions where they can run the TVs, the media in every form, because they want to change your way of thinking. That's the only way they could do it. They've got to get into everybody's home. That's why this advanced technology came out so quickly. Why did it come out so quickly? Because now they were in government. Now they've spent so many years taking over the governments. Once they got in that position where they were in control of the countries, then they could implement all of this modern technology so they could get to the individual people in their homes. They couldn't go around knocking on people's doors and having discussions with them. That's the only way they could do it. Now they're I don't know how close they are. I don't know how to measure that. I don't know, you know, because of the position I'm in, I can't investigate. I would like to investigate to find out how far they've really got with this. It's like the advanced technology. The only time we knew that they had this advanced technology was then when those towers came down. That was right in front of us. We could see it. Right? There was other experiments took place in the past, but there was no evidence of it. You know, like that, what was it? The Philadelphia experiment.
Right.
We have no proof of that.
Right.
We didn't see that taking place. We saw the towers coming down there. So we know then that's evidence. You know, it's evidence, it's there in front of us. We know it took place. You know, all we've got to do, you know, there's so many films of it. So we know it took place. So we know they've got that kind of technology, okay? When Dynamo rang me up, it was in connection with this. He didn't want to say too much. He knows that people are listening. You understand? He knows that everything I touch, or everything whatever it is we use, phones or whatever, they are listening. Somehow certain words trigger certain mechanisms off where they can tune in us when they know that the information is important to them. In other words, they're not listening to just ordinary gossip here. And he knows that, so he knows what the key words are. So, but he told us, looks like they've got some of it. That's what he told me. They've got some of the information. They've worked some of this out, he said. Because the tablets had some of the information on. You need the other tablets to connect up with the other tablets to make sense. Do you understand?
Yeah.
There was certain, I don't know what was missing off those tablets, but there were certain ingredients that you could put together and something would happen.
Yeah.
Now I believe the Germans had got some of that information. That I was told about the bell. Now, not off the media or anything like that. I was told, never mind when the information came. Anyway, I was told about it during the 16, when I was with the 16. And they were laughing about it. They were joking about it. So it wasn't, they weren't sitting talking to me and telling me about it. I was listening to what they said, remember the bell? And they were all laughing. They said they thought I had anti-gravity, you know. And he says it was an energy weapon. And that's how I knew about, apparently some trucks disappeared, some people disappeared. And they closed the damn thing down quickly. When they took the wire, the cables or chains that were holding this bell, it vanished. It disappeared, they lost it. What happened? I've no idea what happened to it, but they were laughing about it. So the only technology they had, they went and lost it. But they still had some of the information. And after the war, on Operation Paperclip, they took all them people who were involved in that and they took them to America. And I think they've been spending years trying to put this information together. And this is why you're starting to get all this modern technology now, like HARP. Like you say, you saw the towers coming down, you saw steel girders turning to dust. They've got it. But can they handle it? Are they in full control of it? Are they still playing about with it? It sounds that way. Accidents are happening with it, you see? So I believe that they've got some of the information and they're playing about with it, trying to work it out. But there's some information that's not there, and that's where the problem lies. And I think they're still looking for these other tablets. But I think they've got enough information now and enough advanced technology to take them forward. It's taken them time. Well, how long is it since the towers came down?
12 years.
Have we saw any other evidence of it? Is there anything else happened where energy weapons you think were involved? I'm asking this because I don't know.
Well,
weather engineering.
People say HARP is an energy weapon. People they were talking about these these comets, meteors that have hit Russia, for example.
Okay,
but they weren't meteors.
I think that's more Earth control, like weather control, and possibly causing earthquakes and things like that.
Well, there was also a meteor that hit Russia last year. I think it was last year or 2012, but it wasn't a meteor. It was just this major energy thing that wiped out like 1,000 people in Russia. Really intense.
Well, hold it.
Diverted that,
yeah. Okay. Well, if you look at that Call of Duty Ghost, it starts off where Iran gets hit from space, and they're making huge holes in the ground. and they take every major city on, and that's what they're using. Now, that sounds similar to what you've just said there about this thing coming from the heavens, if you like. I think they're still experimenting with it. I don't think they've got control of that yet. I don't think they can direct it exactly where they want it to go, all at the same time, or one after the other. Do you understand? To maintain it. That's what I believe. But I'm only guessing. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I know that when I saw the towers coming down, and I saw solid steel girders turn to dust, and then when I saw those cars, quarter of a mile away, burnt in half. One half of the car was burnt, and the other half wasn't.
Right.
That's energy weapons.
Yeah.
And I think they're playing about with it. I think they don't know how to control it. I think they have a good idea how to control it, but they have to get more satellites into position so they're around Earth so they can hit wherever they like at the same time. They might not have that in place yet. Maybe that's why that's what they're waiting for.
But you're assuming these people are they're just trying to wipe out humans. You're assuming that the idea is just to kill humans.
Well, the idea come from them.
Hmm?
The idea came from them. They're going to pay Georgia Gatestone's telling you they're going to get rid of half the population.
Right.
And if they want weapons of that nature, why do you want weapons of that nature? What's it for? To clean their teeth or something? Or
just getting back to crop circles, the people who make the crop circles are getting extra time to finish off as if there's some kind of local space bubble when they're making these things.
Well, I don't know about that. You see, I never go into them areas because I know nothing about it.
I mean, this is reported by scientists who actually made the crop circle.
Yeah, okay.
It was made by people, but they got an extra hour to finish it off.
Well, there are definitely crop circles that have appeared much more quickly. But the question is, again, we're talking about a war. I mean, it's almost like a war of gods between those who hate mankind and those who created mankind.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Two different factions.
That's what I believe, yeah.
And it's as though maybe does the energy weapon have anything to do with destruction of consciousness? For example, if you're destroyed by an energy weapon, does it then affect your reincarnation process? Would you maybe not be able to reincarnate into this dimension? Do you know anything about that?
The only thing I know about it is they say we're energy. That's, you know, we're energy, our energy and soul is within the Earth's energy. It can't go any further. It travels in this Earth's energy. That's what I was told. When a baby's born, before it's born, when it's fully developed, how the body charges up with electricity, I don't know, because I'm not a doctor. But I know they were telling me as soon as the body is prepared within the woman, and she says the body's fully developed, the electricity hits, the heart starts beating, and as soon as everything is developed, the pineal gland opens up, sends up a signal, and then whatever energy is for that body enters the body. Mm-hmm. Now, if, for instance, for some reason, they always say it's wrong to have kids with your sister or things like that, right? I don't know the terminology. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. That interferes with the programming or the code of the pineal gland. This is why it's forbidden. You're not allowed to do that. And the reason why you're not allowed to do that, when the energy gets in, you're letting other energies in as well. That's why you have multi-personalities. Or that's why you have a man in a woman's body. We've got proof of that. That's evidence of that. They're walking around the streets now telling you, I'm a woman. Right? So they get all the bits chopped off, and you know, and it's a nightmare. It's hell for them. That's what we've got to make sure it doesn't happen, because you may come back as one of them. You may end up in a woman's body, or you might end up in a disabled body, completely disabled, and it's hell for you on earth. That's what they call hell on earth. Mm-hmm. That's what they're talking about.
But John, the waitress that served you coffee is Norwegian, but she's got friends in Iceland, and in Iceland you have to have a genetic test, which only will allow cousins up to the 6th or 7th cousin level before you're allowed to get married.
Yeah.
Because there was so few people there.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm not a doctor. I don't know how that actually works, but I know it's got something to do with that. You have to have the blue bloodlines. That's why they want the blue bloodlines, right? And
but what does that mean? Blue blood. What does that mean?
The actual terminology, I'm not quite sure, but it's a sort of a breed, and they have to maintain that breed. Do you understand? It's like, apparently, the way it's done, they can marry into a fifth or 10th cousin or something, you see, because the father isn't of the same bloodline. Do you understand? It's, in other words,
It's the DNA, they say, the genetics are transferred through the mother in this sense.
That's right, yeah.
Which is why Judaism comes from the mother's side.
That's right, yeah. Yeah.
That's
why, well,
the chromosome.
No, you know, if you listen to the Jews, they say you must marry a Jew. That's right, isn't it? We've got plenty of film of that. The Jews must marry Jews.
Yeah.
That's the whole object of the exercise.
Right.
But as long as the Jew doesn't marry, or anybody, it doesn't have to be a Jew, as long as they don't marry their sister, then they're not creating any big problems here.
Or even in the case of Abraham, you can have sex with your daughter.
well, like I say, you probably could, but as long as you don't have children.
No, that's how he has. Doesn't he have a child by his daughter?
Well, like I said,
one of his seed is from his daughter. Anyway, it's very interesting, the inbreeding thing. But
that's just, you don't know that. You have no proof of that.
Well, I don't have proof of much
no,
when it comes to the
got
Bible.
Proof, no, we've got proof now. When that happens, something's wrong with the child, isn't it? I mean, you've got evidence of that. That's what you're looking for, evidence, not hearsay, because the Bible is just the blueprint of the New World Order. Well, everything in the Bible, all the predictions of the Bible will come true, because they'll make them come true. And the more they make them come true, the more the credibility the Bible has. That's what it's about. It's control.
I want to get into the history, but first, the Jewish question. Did you learn anything in terms of where the Nazis, what the Nazi esoteric belief system came from? Was this, for example, does it resonate with what you were told with the 16, as far as, did they take it to an extreme by attacking the Jews, or was it like, because the Nazis were very occult, they were obviously, they believed in this, this worship of race, but also, the Nordic gods, the idea that they were a chosen people, that, it was like they were trying to basically build a perfect specimen, right? A Superman, a master race, right? Do you know anything about this history?
I don't know about being a master race. I don't know a great deal, really, other than what I've been told or what we've been led to believe. We really don't know what went on in Germany. We don't know what went on in Egypt. We don't know what went on anywhere, because it's all been controlled. We are using what we're being told to try and come up with a solution.
Right.
But is what we're being told, is that the right thing? So are we coming up with the wrong solution? We've got to be careful here. What you're asking me is all actually hearsay. We don't know that for certain. As I was saying about when people believe that a God can make an earth, put people on it, then torture them if they don't follow him, that doesn't make sense neither. So everything we know, or most of what we know, is false. So we're trying to use that false information to come up with something concrete. It just doesn't work that way. All I know is what I went through. I know about energies because it was real. And people say, well, how do you know it wasn't real? Again, it's a firewall. They don't want to know the real thing. Every time you approach on the real thing, they'll either change the subject, right, or compare it with something else. That's why they want YouTube. That's why they want the internet. That's why they want Skype. They want you talking about it. They want to spread all that information around so everybody's confused. Nobody knows really what the hell they're talking about. It's all guesswork, the vast majority of it. So when somebody comes along with real evidence or want to prove it in some way, they don't want to know. Believers, they shy away from it because they know you're deprogramming them. So they shy away from it. They'll bring something else up. Oh, it's got to be like this, or it's got to be like that. That was in the Matrix, or that was here. That's why these programs exist. They wanted to divert you away from reality. Reality. It's like when I said to you, we must kill to stay alive. People don't want to know that. They want this nice little happy little world of theirs. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
People don't eat meat because of animals getting killed. But if you could prove, which people have proven, that plants suffer pain,
mm-hmm.
they know when you're there, that's why you play music to them, but it's been put to the test. So what are they going to do? They're going to starve themselves to death now because they think plants suffer pain? If we do, we're all going to die. So I said to you, when I sent you that poem, we must kill to stay alive. That's a fact. Whether you like it or not, it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. That's for real. That's what we are. We're killers. Full stop. So all this crap about peace on earth, that's rubbish. That cannot be achieved. It just cannot be achieved. And if you can prove to me otherwise, I'll listen to you.
Well, there's definitely factions that are working, like we were talking about, the cybernetics, the idea of taking the human and mixing it with the cyborg. Maybe that will achieve it. It'll be a different kind of reality.
As long as it's got a memory, as long as it's got a thought, it has to kill to survive in some way. There's an energy supply here, and if it can't get that, it's got to get that energy supply from somewhere.
Right.
Now, if it can get it from another cyborg, that's exactly what it'll do, and it'll kill it.
Well, think about like vitamins, minerals. There's all, how do you say?
And where do they get these vitamins from? And what sort of a world we're going to be living in? We're crying out loud. Yeah? We've lost our feelings. We've lost everything. We're just damn robots walking around. For what reason? Yeah? Where's the excitement in that? Where's the feeling in that?
Absolutely. I'm not saying that this is the best, but I'm saying that there is evolution. The point is that there is evolution over time.
Well, it did happen.
And
it happened before, and that's what they're trying. They realised they made big mistakes, and they're trying to repeat. This is why. But this is what all this is about.
What do you mean it happened before?
Well, again, I'm very reluctant to go into something that I've just done a piece of. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You know, again, I'm a human being. Because I'm a human being, I can't venture, when I feel like it, into other dimensions. I can't do it. You see? All I remember was when I went one of those, when I was going through the One Step Beyond, and they put me in that program, I went to different dimensions. I only came back with a certain amount of information. The information that was recorded on my subconscious brain. When I saw it, they were showing us the future.
Really?
Yeah. I saw a small clip of everything being destroyed. Everything being destroyed. As I said before, they're lined up. You've got cavemen, and then you have the next world, which is all in line with each other, all in the same timeline. Do you understand? They're all in a sort of circle or timeline. So you've got caveman, then we'd say 50 years or 500 years on, then you have how much they've improved, in that length of time. So, but they're both in different worlds. So that world goes gradually increases, gets more technology, and it improves itself, just like we've done in the past. So each world is like that. But when you put them together, you've got one that's a caveman, one that's more advanced than that, one that's more advanced than that, and so on and so on. You see? Mm-hmm. So you can go into each one, in each world. So you can go into the future, which is their world. You can go into the past, into their world. Not ours, it's got nothing to do with us. This is our time, this is the time that we're in. Right? So we're trapped in this. If our souls enter into another time zone, you enter into their body, you can take over one of their bodies. That's why you have people with twin personalities or whatever you want to call it. This is, I'm struggling here to try and explain it. You heard singers saying, "It's not me up on the stage." Where did the skill come from? It came from other dimensions that were more advanced than what we are at that particular time. We were playing about with this advanced technology, like the thing I went through, the program. You remember when they said, "I sold my soul to the devil"? Well, I would like to talk more to these people who say that, because you'll find that another entity entered into them with those skills. It's like you have some children born, when they're born, there's no musical, it's not a musical family in any way, right? You can go through a history of that particular family. You know nothing about music, okay? This child's born when he's 7. He can play Mozart.
Well, Mozart played at 7 too. Mozart was playing his pieces and composing at 7 years old too.
Okay. Now that's fact. We can prove that, can't we?
Mm-hmm.
That's where I like to stick. I like to stick to things we can prove. That is a fact. How come that child knew that? How could it do that if it didn't exist in the family? The reason why I did that was the previous life. Wherever that came from, that person, when it died, carried that information with it back to that child. So when it was reborn, it had already had that information. It already had those skills inside. Even the child would be shocked. It was a bit like me when they showed me the combat. I got the shock, mate. I mean, I couldn't believe what I was doing. But that's proof. And the proof is what I do. Where did I get it from? How did I come by it? Do you understand? It's the same if you're talking to these people who are geniuses or whatever they do, and it doesn't run the family. They ask the same question. They don't understand how they've got that information. Mm. But that's how they've got it. That's the nightmare. The nightmare is you don't know where your energy, your soul, is going to end up in. And you're not meant to know. Remember when I used to talk to you on Skype? You're not meant to know this. And the more you know, the more it'll send you crazy. People have gone crazy over it. Mm-hmm. The more you concentrate on it, the more you realize it, and the more you get nearer death, the more you start to panic. Believe us.
Well, apparently there's some kind of control system in place that that directs your next that directs you to your next incarnation.
That's what they're looking for. Whether they've got it or not, I'm not quite sure. I went through that program. They could direct me, right? But to what body, I don't know whether they could make sure I was traveling to a certain body or whatever. I don't know. They just sent us to an era. How they could do that, I just don't know. But they knew. They told us that when I came back. You know, when I came back, I was already there. When my energy came back into the body and they woke us up, they said, right, we've got to close your eyes. Right, you've got to close your eyes. And then they did some of that wire again, and this high-pitched noise come back. And then I was watching it in my head. I could see it. So I was really getting interested in what I was looking at, mm-hmm. and then it would switch off. And they said, "What did you see?"
But you felt like you were in a body. It wasn't like you weren't just disembodied seeing a time. You were in someone's body.
Yeah, I felt as though I was looking through somebody else's eyes in that world.
And you had no control over it.
No, I could feel it. I could feel the downwind.
Right, but it was like a dream. It was like you couldn't. It was that feeling like you couldn't take an object. You couldn't pick up a rock.
No, I could.
You could.
Yeah, the body that was picking things up, I had the feeling of it.
But could you control it? Could you choose to?
No, I couldn't control it.
You couldn't control it. You were just You were just watching.
I was
observing.
in a body that already had a spirit and energy.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was like when people say they've got twin personalities. Suddenly they're sitting and all of a sudden they turn into somebody else, right?
Yeah.
Well, it was a bit like that.
So is that maybe what the old gods are doing by living through us, or they work through people? Maybe that's what they take control of us.
Something like that. Yeah.
Right.
I'm trying to get this together myself.
Right. Is that what they meant when they said the gods are in charge? Because maybe they're coming in through politicians.
That's what 16 was saying when they were joking with us. Be careful, they could be standing right next to you. Be careful, they could be standing right next to you.
Right, but they're more like spirit in that case. They actually walk the earth.
We have someone who can see. Remember? And they live. We have someone who can see.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
If you ever come across that, that's exactly what they'll do. You will be bumped off, like GFK, like all of them. Once you can see, you're dead.
Well, you're not dead.
No, not yet. The information hasn't gone out yet. It's on that damn camera and with you. I've never told it to anybody else. You're the only people in this room now who's heard that. Nobody else has ever heard it. I never mentioned it anywhere. I didn't put it in my book.
Yeah, I know.
I kept it out of the book because I know people looking at it would come to the obvious conclusion that, oh, he spent the coin, must have been hypnotized. Yeah. Great, that's exactly what I wanted. People form their own conclusion.
You think they live is pretty accurate?
Yes, in the sense that it's the alien bit at the end where that was a diversion to make it look like a comedy. I think it was very good. I don't think even the actor himself knew what it was all about. I really don't. Where did the guy get the information from to make that film, do you know?
I'm trying to find out myself.
Try and find out. I need to know.
I've been trying. I'm trying to meet with him.
Try and meet with him. Try and find out. He got that from somewhere. He didn't just dream it up. I mean, you could. Depends on what energy got into that body. It may already had that information. Right? Because you see, your body, when it's born, has no information. None at all. The second it opens its eyes, it starts to record what it sees around it. Right? The information is put there by your parents straight away. So whatever it is you're recording, that's your little world. You see, so, you know, how people think and how they react depends on the environment they're being brought up in.
Yeah.
You see? And also what cultures, because we have different frequencies, therefore that's what makes us different.
Sure.
You know? And that's a fact. It's not a racist remark.
Yeah.
You know, that's where we are.
Yeah, I understand.
But animals also have souls. You know, they want you to get away from that. Animals have no souls. You know, we can't prove over animals. That's absolute rubbish. Because that's why they're trying to mix humans with animals as well. They really want to mess you up.
Mm-hmm.
If you look on TV now, gays, lady boys or whatever you call them, are taking over.
Yeah, but it's
they want you to believe that's how it should be.
And that's the prophecy too of the end times. in the hadiths, for example, in the Islamic tradition,
they're not
they talk about the exact same thing.
They were put there by them people. They knew that somewhere along the line that this was going to happen because they were going to make it happen. Therefore, you relate back to their plan, their Bible. They're making the things come true that's in the Bible because they put them there because that was the plan to make happen. That's what it's all about.
I want to get into the Bible, but let's take a change tape. Let's change the tape first, then we'll go into the Bible stuff.
Okay, could you do that again, please? Because the sun came out and you're overexposed.
What?
Did you just say that last bit?
We don't have to say it.
Well, it makes it nice for the recording. You were like a snowman then when the sun came out.
Yeah, but I'm just saying take a break because we don't need this. We don't need the line. You know, we're taking a break. The point is, we'll just go right to the next question. You know.
Yeah. Okay. Take a break.
Yeah. It's the same. I need some water too.
My head's going like a bloody clappers here.
Huh?
Yeah, Peter, you couldn't put the kettle on for us, could you please, if you don't mind? I know you're not a tea lad.
He needs his.
It's driving me crazy, this.